Here comes Gabriella Hoffman to join us now to talk about it. She's the director of the Independent Women's Forum Center for Energy and Conservation. Gabriella, good to have you with us.
Good to speak with you, Vince. This is a very exciting development.
It is an exciting development. Tell us what you think of Doug Burgum and what role you think he will play in restoring American energy.
He's an interesting choice. I was expecting President Trump or President-elect Trump to select Alaska Governor Dunleavy because Alaska has been targeted with nearly 70 executive orders, largely energy focused, by the Biden-Harris administration. So I thought he was going in that direction. Maybe he's the energy secretary. But he's a very interesting pick because he's not out of left field. Traditionally, the secretaries who helm Department of Interior tend to be from the western states because 95% of all federal lands are west of the Mississippi. And he's kind of western adjacent, being in North Dakota. So he wasn't a surprise pick. He was a very interesting pick. And he will certainly carry out the president's duty not only to spur domestic energy production, but a lot of people don't know that the Department of Interior handles all of our public lands, the national parks. So anyone who is doubtful about President Trump's commitment to conservation, he signed this very big law, the Great American Outdoors Act. So there's not going to be a despoiling of federal lands. There's going to be better management to make sure that environmentalists do not abuse laws or prevent people from grazing, farming, ranching, hunting, fishing, and the like. So you're going to see some balance. And his announcement is going to be a much-needed reprieve to the 4 years under Deb Haaland. Deb Haaland prioritized environmental justice, climate crying sessions, wokeism, and really strayed the agency and its 11 other departments away from their mission. So this is a welcome reprieve.
Yeah, I saw in some of the coverage overnight of the selection of Doug Burgum to this role, the left-wing press is upset, and they say that he's very close to the fossil fuel companies. That's the reporting from the New York Times. But that's encouraging to me. If he's got a good relationship with American energy companies, that's precisely the kind of guy we want in the role, especially because I thought the whole point was we have to stimulate more energy production in the United States. Absolutely, to meet growing electricity demand, to supply our friends in Europe. 3 days within Trump's election, the head of the EU, she declared that we want more American LNG. And the Department of Interior is chiefly responsible for oil and gas leases. Under Biden-Harris, we had the fewest leases available. And even if we do more leases and more drilling of oil and natural gas, it's going to be a lot safer, definitely regulated, and more environmentally friendly than depending upon adversary nations and even others who are kind of, ambivalent towards us. But everything is going to be done smoothly. It was done very effectively in the past. And those fears will be quelled, I think. President Trump's statement, again, just out in the last few minutes on Doug Burgum, includes the following. He says, the radical left's war on American energy has hurt our allies by forcing them to buy from our adversaries, who in turn use those profits to fund wars and terror. Energy dominance will allow us to sell energy to our friends, including all European nations, which will make the world a safer place. So the president directly addressing what you're talking about, Gabriella, which is that not only is American energy good for Americans to thrive, having access to cheap, abundant energy, but also for national security purposes. It absolutely is. It's great for the economy because there are countless, hundreds of thousands of jobs that depend on American energy. And while the Department of Interior doesn't handle nuclear energy, I suspect incoming Secretary Burgum will probably work with his eventual counterpart at Department of Interior to unleash nuclear. Nuclear is the only true clean energy source, along with some forms of geothermal, hydropower. And that is also where President Trump and this council and Burgum and the eventual energy department head have to also look to, because it's a great complement to fossil fuels. It won't take away from... Uh-oh. She's still with us? Yes, I'm here. Okay, good. You just broke up for a moment. You were saying it won't take away from what? It won't take away from us caring about the environment either, because we've had this prioritization of so-called environmentalism under Biden-Harris, and it's actually worsened the quality of the environment. And Biden and Harris, under the Department of Interior, have kicked off hunters and anglers, who are the biggest conservationists. And also Burgum is a hunter, so that's reassuring. You want to have someone who has some proximity, not only for the energy production side, but also for the recreation side that this agency is very responsible for. I haven't heard the president talk a ton about nuclear energy. He in the statement that he put out today, he does capitalize the word all in all forms of American energy. actually twice in the statement, and which is suggestive that he is thinking of expanding nuclear. Although kind of from memory, I feel like when he's asked about nuclear, he speaks about it in something of a hesitant way, because I do think he keeps saying that the thing he's most concerned about is nuclear weapons. And of course, we shouldn't equate nuclear energy to nuclear weapons, but
correct.
Do you get the impression that he is open to nuclear as a way to move forward?
Absolutely. I think in his or in the Republican Party platform, he had said we want to focus on all reliable forms of energy, including nuclear. What I'm also very excited to see, especially with Doug Burgum at the helm, they're going to be revoking offshore wind. Offshore wind has been extremely destructive. It's not a profitable enterprise. It's terrible for the whales. So because BOEM, which handles offshore oil and gas exploration, I think Trump is going to order on day one to terminate those really grotesque offshore wind turbines. So we're going to also see that as well. I know Trump does not like the windmills. We're also going to see perhaps Secretary Burgum revoke this big Western solar plan to catalyze solar across millions of acres, 22 million, if not even 40 million acres. So Trump is going to move away from these unreliable solar and wind, really up the ante on oil and gas and coal, and I think be open to nuclear. So whoever his energy department secretary is going to be, they're going to calm his fears about nuclear energy, because it really is the most portable, the most clean, the most reliable, and the least land intensive of any energy source out there.
How quickly could you envision Americans feeling the benefit from all of this, Gabriella Hoffman?
I think when you see the peeling back of all the executive orders, the regulations, it could be hard to surmise, but I think within 6 months to a year, maybe sooner, if they really deregulate, and everyone thinks deregulation leads to decimation of the environment, not whatsoever. But if you see the peeling back of bad rules, all these countless executive orders, you will start to see relief at the pump, because there's so much liquid gold, as President Trump says, and there's so many oil reserves that we're sitting on. It's a shame that we're not using them, and also whatever we have left over, not sending it to our friends, or sending it to our friends rather. So we can see an unleashing of energy, lower costs very, very soon, because what the Biden-Harris administration have done with this net zero, abolish fossil fuels mentality has really led to these skyrocketing prices, not only for your utility bills, energy bills, but also your food prices, transportation. Everything goes back to energy, and when energy policy is, really wacky, it affects everything else in our lives. So this is really exciting, and hopefully relief will come soon. It's hard to quantify when exactly, but I hope within the first initial months we could see some relief come.
Yeah, that'd be a big deal. And I know President Trump, I think one of the promises he was making on the campaign trail is that he wants to cut the actual price at the pump by up to half within the first year, because he thinks that it is possible. And gas prices are kind of a forward-looking indicator of the way the energy market is going. So it's possible. It's possible. I'm praying for that. I'm hoping for the best. It'd be good for my family, that's for sure. Gabriella Hoffman with the Independent Women's Forum, thank you very much for your time and expertise today.
Thanks, Vince. Have a good weekend.